Dragon Champion, Book 1 in the Age of Fire, by E. Knight. Narrated by David Drummond. Copyright 2005 by Eric Frisch. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with New American Library, a division of Penguin Group USA Incorporated, and was produced in the year 2009 by Tantor Media Incorporated, which holds the copyright thereto.
Hi there, I'm E. Knight. Welcome to the first volume in my Age of Fire series, Dragon Champion. My dragon stories have their genesis in three interests of mine: dinosaurs, animal stories, and reader mail. One of these things is not like the other, right? The dinosaur one is the easiest. When I was a boy, I read a lot of dinosaur books. I could tell the difference between an ankylosaur and a stegosaurus without even thinking about it. When I grew older, I started reading books about dragons, since there wasn't much dinosaur-centric fiction back in those days once you got through Edgar Rice Burroughs. And dragons are just flying, fire-breathing dinosaurs in a way, right? As to animal stories, I grew up on young adult novels about dogs, from the Lassie books to the 101 Dalmatians and Big Red and so on. But a real turning point came in my life when I read Richard Adams' Watership Down, or rather when it was read to me and my classmates in 5th grade. Thanks to Adams' rich imagination, I became fascinated with seeing the world through a different set of eyes. And last, reader mail. I love getting emails from my audience, but I noticed with my Vampire Earth series that I was hearing from an awful lot of 12 and 13-year-old kids. It disturbed me because there's some pretty harsh violence and so on in those books. I'm not sure I'd want my own kids reading that until they were 14 or 15, so I determined to write a fantasy that all ages could enjoy. Following in the footsteps of Tolkien and Lewis, I blended together my interest in dragons and my love of animal-centric stories and came up with The Age of Fire. Best of all, I can now hear from teenagers about it and not feel guilty. Thank you for buying this audio presentation. Let's meet Auron, the scaleless gray hero of Dragon Champion.
A note on dragon names. Careful listeners will observe that a mature male dragon's name changes after he makes his first flight. By tradition, the pronunciation of a dragon's name changes as he achieves maturity, with emphasis shifting from the first syllable to the second. When Auron's father, Aurel, was a hatchling, he would have been called Aurel, as one would say the word oral. When he became a fledged dragon, the pronunciation changed so that it would rhyme with Noel. The ancient practice of calling the surviving male hatchling by the father's name until he breathed his first fire had died out by the time Auron's egg was laid.